Good evening, everyone. My name is John Taves. I'm the event coordinator here at McNally Robinson Booksellers. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge McNally Robinson Booksellers is located here on Treaty 1 territory. That's the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples in the homeland of the Métis Nation. In addition, McNally Robinson Booksellers rests on the land once occupied by the Métis community of Brewstertown. As a settler working for a settler-run organization, we are here to listen and in our own clumsy way, hope to elevate community voices and provide a space for true conversation and the exchange of ideas. We're so delighted that you could all join us here tonight. We are here, of course, to celebrate the latest installment of the Artbeat Annual publication, their Artbeat Annual. This is number 17, Impact. It's been such a pleasure to launch the Artbeat Annuals over the last, well, quite a few years. And this is our first in 2 years. I can't imagine what would have caused that delay, but we are completely thrilled to have you all back here to celebrate the incredible artists featured in this volume, and as well all the incredible work that Artbeat Studios Incorporated does. I won't take up too much of your time with myself because we will be hearing from some special guests, some Artbeat representatives, and of course, most importantly, some of the artists featured in tonight's volume. I will just point out a few very quick housekeeping notes before we get underway. Now there will be a series of presentations from the podium. As people do come up to speak into the microphone, I would encourage you to feel free to adjust the height on this microphone in front of you. It works best if it's somewhat uncomfortably close to your face, but feel free that you can have it just below your mouth so everybody can actually see you while you're speaking. I'll be in the back manipulating the volume to ensure that you're all heard. Just please do not be alarmed if I suddenly appear on either side of you to adjust the camera, or potentially, if we can't hear you, even adjust the microphone. I will skitter out of your space as soon as I'm done, I assure you. The only other thing I would say is that following that there will be a time for questions, and those questions can come from those in the audience, just simply by raising your hands. The host for tonight will then repeat your questions so that they can be heard by those watching on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube and wish to participate in the conversation at all, you can offer your comments in the chat. You can also write your questions there, and we will get to them as time permits. But that is more than enough for me right now. Tonight, I would like to invite up your host for the evening. Leah Gazan is an artist, helper, and is the studio facilitator at Artbeat Studios Incorporated. She oversees the artists in residence, facilitating group art sessions and mental health conversations, initiating outings and community connections, and supporting the artists. Please join me in welcoming Leah Gazan.
Thanks, John. Thanks, McNally Robinson. It is awesome to be in a cozy space in this wicked, nasty weather outside. So thank you everyone for making the trek here. If you're here in this building, welcome here. Thank you for being here. And if you're watching on YouTube from wherever you are, welcome here as well. I'm really glad you could be here. Thanks. So just to give you an overview of what you can expect over the next 45 to 60 minutes, I'll kind of give you a brief overview and then we will get started. So first of all, we're going to hear 4 short introductions and from 4 different people connected to Artbeat. And then I will come back up and we will do kind of one-on-one conversations with 4 of the artists who completed the residency last year. I should also say, my name is Lisa, and I started with Artbeat only halfway through last year. So I had the absolute honor and privilege of getting to know the artists in the second group that will be up here. And the artists from the first group I've gotten to know since that. So I want to say thank you. And so first I'm going to welcome up Wynn, who's the executive director of Artbeat Studios.
I gotta lower this way down. Thank you, Lisa. Impact. What a wonderful title for our Artbeat Annual 17 publication. 2021 was full of changes for Artbeat, from new staff to new programming to new ways of doing things. But what was consistent and will always be is the Artbeat community and its impact. Not just how we impact the artists in our programs, but also how they impact each other and their impact on us, Artbeat, as a community. That's what we do at Artbeat. We build community. We provide the space for people to be a part of something that is much bigger than the world that they know. And I've seen the impact that this can have on a person's mental health, and it is immeasurable. The sense of belonging, the creation of art next to another person creating art, knowing that person is also living with a mental health illness or challenges has profoundly increased one's self-esteem and outlook in life. So artists, you are so brave to allow Artbeat to be a part of your mental health recovery journey. So let's continue to show the world how we can heal and be empowered by creative expressions. Thank you for your impact. And now I would like to invite Artbeat's longtime friend and board chair, Chloe Davis, to say a few words.
Thank you, Wynn. Thank you. I have been involved with Artbeat for a number of years now, and I've enjoyed it very, very much. Nice to see some familiar faces here tonight. Last year, we undertook a new review of our mission for Artbeat, and Wynn kind of summed it up. And I've written it down here because it should be very easy to remember, but just in case, to provide studio space and connections that promote mental health through creative expression. And that's just the start of the journey into the community of Artbeat, and it reaches out into the community with the fabulous staff that Wynn has been able to put together. Lisa's sitting here, and James and Marissa are in the room as well as so many volunteers. We lost one of our board members who moved on to other things. I think he wants to spend more time with his art, which is really quite heartwarming. Nick Aarons Townsend, I just wanted to quote something. He had sent us a resignation letter, and I took a few words out of that, and he says, "Artbeat's on a promising trajectory." And I think that's for all the good work that the staff and volunteers, all the time spent and all the enthusiasm from all of those people. Thank you.
Thanks, Wynn. Thanks, Chloe. And now we're going to pass the mic over to two other guests. These are friends of Artbeat. They're folks in our broader Winnipeg community who really champion us as folks, as advocates. And so first I'd like to welcome up Leah Gazan. She's an MP for the City Centre.
I'm always scared when I go in front of a podium. Can you see me? Just kidding. Lisa, Wynn, John, Claude, Ron, you'll be coming up. It's so wonderful to be with all of you here today to celebrate the book launch of Impact, because I can tell you, as the representative of Winnipeg Centre, Artbeat is one of our heartbeats. You know, we have Artbeat not just, working with people inside of their beautiful facility of care and love, but within our community. I've had the pleasure of being in Central Park in painting pictures with the community. And we know right now in the city of Winnipeg that we are dealing with a mental health crisis. And it's organizations like Artbeat, I was going to say Heartbeat, because you're such a heartbeat, but organizations like Artbeat that really are making a difference and allowing people to express themselves and express themselves in a way that gives them healing, place, and belonging. So to the artists that are here today, to the artists that are not here today that are going to share your story, I want to commend you on the journey you're on. And I also want to thank you for sharing your story and giving other people courage to just talk about mental health and being with each other in places of care and love and non-judgment. So thank you so much, Artbeat, for being one of our heartbeats in Winnipeg Centre. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Leah. And next, our next friend of Artbeat that I'd like to welcome up is Ron Hogue, who's the Director of Development for the Victoria Hospital Foundation.
Thanks so much. I'm just really honored to be here tonight. I am very pleased to be able to represent the foundation at this function. We, as maybe some of you know, we are, as a foundation, charged with supporting mental health supports and initiatives, not only within the hospital, at the Victoria Hospital, but also within the community. And Artbeat was one of our very first community organizations that we identified as being in alignment with our mission in that respect. And we've had a casual relationship with Artbeat for a long time, but we formalized that within the last few years, and it's been exceptional. We've had the pleasure through donor support to be able to provide grant money and other financial supports to Artbeat to facilitate programs involving art therapy as mental health therapy, and by way of purchasing materials and supplies, so that the artists who are here and the artists who aren't here can go about creating the amazing works that they do that were featured in Impact tonight. So thank you very much again for that opportunity. I just love seeing and hearing about the impact. And again, Wynn mentioned it, impact is such a perfect word for that. You know, the isolation that was brought on by the pandemic obviously focused the need and the importance of having expression and outlets for people creatively so that they could deal with the stresses that they were undergoing. And, you know, Wynn and her team are just doing an amazing job of that. So thank you very much on behalf of the foundation for giving us the opportunity to support such a worthwhile initiative.
Thank you, Ron. Now I'm going to try not to make my voice go all up and down, but I'm very excited because now I get to invite up my artist friends. So my friends, I'm going to name you if you said you're going to be on the artist panel. If all of a sudden you think, I don't want to go there, that's okay. Stay where you are, take a walk. And if I don't name you, but you are an artist and you want to come on up, come on up. So I'm going to welcome Marcia and Chris and Elle and Megan. So not that long ago, maybe about 15 years ago, I was moving out on my own, and my mom said to me, I was in a really bad state at this time, and my mom said, like, what's wrong? I said, I just don't feel like I belong. I just feel really, really weird. And this is coming from a kid who just like painted all the time. Anything I could find to put paint on, I would paint. And I found that over the last 15 years, as soon as I meet a maker, an artist, a creator, I found another weirdo. And I feel like I belong. And so, thank you. And so, kind of as a testament to that, about maybe 20 minutes ago, as we were walking in, I was showing some of my artist friends, like, oh, I can't work the freaking printer. So I printed off, like, this isn't supposed to be that big, but I couldn't figure out how to print it off. So it just looks like this. And Megan says to me, well, you're awesome for it. So that's the kind of of support and care and love that we try to foster in the Artbeat residency, where I have the privilege of spending time with the artists and residents over the course of their 6-month residency. So I have 4 questions here that I'd like to start by asking the artists. I'm going to start by asking Megan. So I'll ask the question and then I'll kind of sit back over there and I'd ask you to respond for a little bit. And then I'll ask the same question to Elle to respond to. Okay?
Plan.
Okay, right on. So the question is, how have you kept creative since the residency?
We come up here. Okay. I wasn't planning on being the first one up or expecting to be, but I think, well, first I just need to say, like, I go by Felicia Day's saying of embrace your weird, because we need to do that. But I think in order to say what I've been doing since the residency, I have to sort of explain my residency a little bit. I was a mess. Like, I was a complete mess. Everything in my life was upturned. I had been friends with people that were part of the program before my residency that had just departed. And what I knew of the residency wasn't what it was like when I went into it. So I didn't know what I was going into. And for me, it was the subject of recovery and healing kept coming up. And I didn't know what healing or recovery were. Everyone sort of says, oh, it's when you heal a wound and it covers up. That's not how the heart works. That's not how the brain works. For me, it was recognizing that I had to adapt to a new me. I had to adapt to what life threw at me, what my new medical struggles were, what my new emotional struggles were, and to go forward with that. I didn't do that in my residency, I'll admit. I made a lot of art and I loved it and I made amazing friends. And shortly after my residency, I processed it. I took it all in and I was able to, I need to breathe. I was able to look at everything that I did and use it to propel my forward. So what I've been doing since then is recognizing that my health is not necessarily going to get better, but my mental health can, and it's going to take a lot of work to do that. And with art, I found, and this is going to sound so weird, but I found one of the most accessible art forms available in AI. So I'm utilizing AI to make and imagine all the things that I used to be able to do by hand. And I'm taking word prompts and ideas and turning them into art that I'm able to share in terms of ideas on depression, ideas on mental health, ideas on physical disability, and the upheaval of human passion and colors and books and randomosities, because I live for randomosities and rainbows and all the crazy things, all the weird. And I found that that's my adaptation. I can use what's already out there. And when I say this, what I mean is when you take a picture, I was a portrait photographer for a number of years. You're taking a picture of what's in front of you. If I were to take a picture right now, I'd be taking a picture of all of your faces, all of your eyes, your hair just the way that it is. When you ask AI to create a picture for you, what it does is it takes a picture of all that's before it. And what is that? That's everything that any of us have ever uploaded onto the internet. and it's looking for all of the things that it sees in common in each of those pictures. It's saying, oh, this is a common thing when I say the word happy. This is a common thing when I say the word love. This is a common thing when I say the word dreams, like clouds in the sky, or a key to my heart, or just a joyful tear in an eye. And it takes all of those things and it creates a picture. And I'm able to use my words to create the pictures that I used to make by hand. And that just makes me happy. But yeah, that's what I've been doing since Artbeat. And I have to just say thank you to everybody that I got to be part of this with, because I just want to cry. And I've been like holding that back the whole time, and I know you could hear it, but it just makes me really happy that I got to be part of it. And thank you, Lisa, for everything. And thank you, Wynn and James and Marissa, and everybody. If I didn't say your name, still, thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Hi, Elle. Elle, the same question is for you. How have you been creative since the residency, which ended last December?
I guess thanks for going before me. I sort of feel a little bit like you. I had to say a little bit of where I was before I see where I am now. When I started Artbeat, I was coming out of the day hospital program, and I was switching my time that I was spending at the hospital with time I was spending at Artbeat. And it was such a wonderful switch for me. I got to spend time with my fellow artists, and you know, the way that we supported each other and the way that we talked with each other and just like checked in with each other was so helpful. All of those things made a huge difference. But the other thing that it made me think is I'm an artist. And I used to think that you had to be an amazing artist to be an artist. And I used to think that I had to be the best at everything. And I don't feel that way anymore. I just want to make art, and I just want to make so much art. And I want to do it every day, and I want to do it all the time. And so part of coming out of Artbeat for me, I applied for a grant with the Canada Council for the Arts, and I got it. Being myself as an artist, which is like crazy to me that I myself am getting paid. And I apologize for using the word crazy, but I self-identify. But when it comes down to it, this grant for me, what it means is I have this really strong desire as a settler on Treaty 1 land to do more of a job of listening to Indigenous folk and making sure that I am riding my boat alongside of people instead of pushing people out of the way. And part of that for me is using my artistic practice to try to listen more. And part of what I do in my drawings is I look for details, and I look for the little tiny pieces that sometimes people forget about. And I love those details so much. And I also love those details in people's lives and in sharing. And part of me, for my grant, part of what I'm doing is I'm being vulnerable and saying, I need to learn, and I'm listening. And I have folks that are friends of mine and folks that are coming out of the woodwork, and just like the names just keep coming and coming. And it's so exciting because people are wanting to share. They have a voice and they want to share, and I want to give them a platform to do that. And I think it's really, it's amazing that I can incorporate my art into like the social justice side of things for me. And I just want to see us do better. I want to be a better settler, and I want to see how I can do that by listening. So that's all for me.
Thank you. So There's something very funny happening over there, isn't it? I just hear people cackling. Sorry, I'm not very funny. Sorry. Anyways, so we have both Marcia and Chris left on the artist panel, and I have 2 more questions. So what I'd like to do is ask both questions and then see who wants to answer which one. And if you both want to answer the same one, that's okay. So the next question is, can you say a few words about the impact that art making has had on your mental health journey? And the other question is, what advice or encouragement do you have for others who are entering the residency or considering applying to the Artbeat residency? Chris is going to go and then he's going to surprise us with what he responds to, or maybe he'll share something different.
Anyways, any advice for someone that's entering the program? I'll say something before I started. I didn't go for the first month because I thought, like, I had no like idea what I'm gonna do. I was like already like self-sabotaging myself. So Lisa actually told me, like, had a meeting with me and we talked and got me like super excited about it and kind of like, I was catastrophizing everything and like making things way more worse than it was. And she just brought me back to got me in the door, get me to come there, and I really appreciate that because I was going to do drawings and I ended up doing more sculpture stuff than I expected, and I'm still doing it right now. And so if you're nervous about going or thinking you have nothing to offer, just don't worry about just the art part, just first the community, because you'll be inspired as something as soon as you like get out of the elevator, like the 2 guys in front, they're whoever's working there. But anyways, like even the artwork that's hung up there and stuff, you'll it just be easy on yourself. It's not, no one's there to judge you or like in competition. Like it's really good. I don't know. If I wouldn't have, I'd be really upset if I didn't have that meeting with Lisa, because it was different from the interview, because it was just like someone actually was trying to get me to go. And usually if I'm nervous, I'll just like kibosh the whole thing and just sit and be regretful about it. So what was the other question?
You're doing so good. The question is, can you say a few words about the impact that art making has had on your mental health journey?
From like kid.
I just want to point out that Chris has his name tag and somehow already managed to turn it into a work of art. So
well, it's definitely like it was always every single time I had some time myself, would always be drawing or making something, and it's gotten through a lot of like gets me out of my head, because my head is like it can be a terrible filter for understanding like the world. So I can make it my own world. I'm the boss of like my drawing. I could make anything, any color, and no one's gonna judge me. That's why everything's in my room or my apartment. I just like feel like I'm making tons and tons of art, and I feel like it's accumulating, but I don't know. That's another thing I'll work on. But art, I don't know. It just makes life interesting, because sometimes things can be really mundane, boring, and uncolorful, and it's the way I get to bend my own rules, and there isn't anything. It's just, but I never have anything in mind. I just make up what I see, what it looks like, or I don't really have any political like inspiration, or maybe I do it subconsciously, but and there's nothing wrong with it. But I mean, just it keeps me kind of youthful. It keeps me looking at stuff and flipping it over and just and seeing other artists doing that. Like I don't know if I answered the question or if I'm just looking at my name. It's I don't know. That's why I knew this was important for me. Is there's a lot of things that happen in my life, and and it's gotten me out of that. And it was always going to be another problem to get out of, but I know there's always another medium, there's always another style, or just my original stuff. But I'm just rambling now. Anyways, Artbeat Annual.
Thank you very much, Chris. Marcia.
Yes,
Marcy,
nerves.
would you like me to repeat either of the
Yes.
questions? Okay. Or you can pick both and you can choose one or the other or both or different.
Okay, this is
Okay, what advice do you have for other folks who are thinking about Artbeat or might be in the residency right now? Do you have advice or encouragement for them? And the other one is, can you say a few words about the impact that art making has on your own mental health journey?
Sure. Yeah, the first one. You see me do this, I got fibroids, so I'm just clearing the frontal lobe. Any advice? It's a good community. I'm not used to hearing myself speak. It's an awesome community. You make great friends. You can speak your truth and you're not judged. You know, we had laughs, we had truth, we had a language that we can't speak because we're indifferent. And that is a place that we were able to express it, whether through singing, whether through crafting, whether through, support, period. What impact has it done for me? After being able to stand up, to be able to be myself. I'm learning my codependency right now, getting out of independency. A lot of what happened before, during, and after, I have a lot of gratitude, as I'm shaking right now. Speaking truth without being judged. We're all indifferent. Like, I get every single one of you as you speak up here. This led me to the women's place. They were awesome because I'm leaving an abusive situation, right? So I have my own trauma to deal with. Me being indifferent in that, whether it be mental, physical, or spiritual, was a big discord, right? I'm big on spirituality. I love being indifferent to all and accepting it all. And if I get choked out, that's just something that happens when I speak truth right now, and I'm okay with that. As I'm shaking right now. So before my breakdown, I have a video and I look at it and I kind of go, I have modalities and I understand what I looked like, what I sounded like, what I acted like. But I also understand the label that I got. And I'm not about labels. I'm about accepting my indifference, but I'm also about going outside the box to help. That's where the support was. We could speak our language. We could speak our spirituality. We could speak our truth, our indifference. Didn't matter where we were. We got each other. We were able to paint it. We were able to draw it. We were able to do it. Being with the Women's Place and having the online was one step for me to get back into my own independence. To be able to take those pictures. Could be pictures of the water, could be pictures of whatever, but I had OCD. I had other things that I had to get outside my own box. Trying to learn my own balance with that now, because I went from OCD to a little bit too passive, where I'm finding my center in my own healthy assertiveness, without anger, but without whatchamacallit. So this whole journey is part of my mind, body, and spirit, right? I would love to move forward with that acceptance that mental health is about mind, body, and spirit, all around, right? I've had to go to other people going, I know what's wrong with me. Can you help me, please? You know, he talks about medium. I have the certificate in that. I had to ask for help just in case, because I'm still learning to stand in my power in a balanced way, with having that compassion and not feeling like I'm getting sucked in or anybody else is getting sucked in, but understand and love unconditionally for how indifferent we think we are, and have the whole kind of experience with that. So the Women's Place helped me be able to get out from being in an abusive situation. I was the shadow. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't put myself out there. I had strength, but I had to find it again. So that journey went, and I'm gonna tell you a beautiful story. I'm sitting at a park. This is how not being in a box is, and being indifferent and with your spirituality. And where you get it is not in your mind. I went to the park one day. You know, my mind's going, it's going mile a minute. That's where painting and art helps me, okay? Get out of my house, get out of my head, go to the park, take my cat to the park, go sit in front of the bench. I forgot something in the car. I planned on painting something, and I go into the car, go back to the car, and I'm like, I forgot. So I'm looking at the bottom of my car, and I see this beautiful angel wing with a blue sapphire heart. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to draw that, right? Because now I'm trying to get from my mind to the paper, not from a tutorial to a paper, but from my mind to a paper. So I'm sitting in front of the bench, and it's like, every time you take a step forward, it's like, there's a challenge, or no, there's a blessing, right? So my mind's going, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, I send you healing, dog. You know, I send you healing, you know, and all of a sudden this lightness came. So I'm painting this angel, and I'm painting, and I'm like, oh, there it is. And then a guy comes, and he says, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your painting. And I'm like, no worries, don't worry about it. He says, this is my late wife's bench. And I went, oh my gosh. But that lightness, that angelic feeling, I didn't plan on painting that. But with that energy and energy exchange, you knew that she was there and he was there. And it was one of those spontaneous things that you just do and it doesn't make sense. And then it was a beautiful story afterwards. And I went back and put the paper, or put that painting in a plastic form, and I put it on the bench for him. So he told me his story, and I just went, from that energy exchange, you kind of went, the angels were here. You know, it wasn't just him. There were some messages I'm going through because that's personal. But again, spirituality is beautiful on all levels. So that is where this growth is leading to me. It's my own soul growth. Sorry. and I'm sure that, you know, I get you guys. I love you guys, and it's okay. And there's lots of outlets for it. And Artbeat is and was a perfect for it. I was too open, that I knew the power of discernment. This isn't mine, but I have to be able to expand and heal myself right now so I can help others. Right? So it was like I could go there for a day and go, okay, I'm hearing this. Is this mine? Power discernment. If it's not, please put it away. Boom, 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 it's gone. Spirituality and understanding who you are, accepting who you are, and speaking your truth is all that you can do. Like I said, I'm kind of getting, you know, but I'm glad I'm not getting choked out. So that's all I want to say. And I just hope moving forward, I'm in this group right now. We are not our trauma, no disrespect, because trauma is a big thing, but I don't want to accept that label either. I don't want to be in that box. You know, there's a trauma imprint, you know, I don't want that. I want not to be my trauma. I want to find the other ways that are mind, body, spiritual. You know, there's a lot of different ways that is all holistic that can help us, that we don't fit in that medical box. And I'm gonna cry. Do you know what I mean? But we don't fit in that medical box. I lived with fibro and CRPS for 12 years or 10 years, and I didn't fit in their box. So I had to go outside that box for soft touch therapy, for this, for that. So that's all I have to say. And my hope that come this future, that we can, in this generation, work together, because each culture matters. When I say I'm indifferent, and part of my healing journey was, every culture has their ways, but you take what's given to you and what resonates with you. And there's no good, bad, or wrong. But if you take a little bit of each of them, more powerful for you. The more guides and angels you have for you. You don't have to listen to what it doesn't resonate. Listen to what does. Whether it's the sound healing, whether I don't have to go into detail, but you know. You know, so that's where this has taken me so far. So
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you for artists for sharing and responding to those questions as you did. And now we're going to open it up for a few minutes to the audience, those of you who are both here in person, and for folks who are joining us virtually on YouTube. If you have a question, raise your hand. And if there's any online, John will tell me. Hello.
That was a great speech. I have a quick question. I do draw myself, well, actually a comic artist. Is there any medium or style that like you rarely try, or you haven't tried, but you want to kind of try it out in the future, or sometimes?
Great question. I don't think I need to repeat it, right, John? Okay. Who wants to respond?
just because I'm indifferent, I don't have one. I have many. I go through phases. I can make jewelry. I did acrylic there. I learned art. Watercolor, sorry. Watercolor. Whatever, kind of attracts me. If I see somebody else try another medium, hey, I'll try it. If I get stuck into perfectionism, I stop it. It should come easy and with a flow. And when you're thinking too much, it's coming from your ego, not your spirit.
I guess for me, Artbeat was really great because you get to try lots of different mediums, and that is a really helpful thing. I keep going back to the ones that I gravitate to, which is ink and graphite. I love drawing both of those mediums, and that's my favorite.
Actually wondering, I realized as John came over here that I said I would ask the artist when they're responding if you could come up here, and that way John's not running around fixing this all the time. So maybe if you don't mind stepping up there.
Just to respond to what I want, well, I have to say when we started our residency, Lisa was kind enough to sit down with each of us and give us an opportunity to create essentially a list of what we wanted to accomplish while we were in our residency. And for many of us, some of those things that we put on that list were like pie in the sky, like the things that we didn't even necessarily think we could manage to come up with or make happen. For myself, I think I had a list of 36 new techniques that I wanted. I think Lisa can vouch for me on that. 36 new techniques that I wanted to accomplish artistically during my 6-month residency, including immersive experiences, which I had never done before. And I actually had 2 immersive experiences in our show, including a mirror box, like Yayoi Kusama. It was a smaller version of it, and a cloud room that you could walk into and sort of be in the clouds. It had to be adapted quite a bit, but it was a fun experience. And just, I think that rather than even having one specific thing that I want to do in the future, it's just recognizing, like I always tell people, I have 30,000 ideas or 30 billion, I don't know. By the time I die, I hope to achieve at least half of them. And I think I'm pretty good on that path to that. So if you get an idea, don't ask yourself or don't tell yourself, oh, well, this isn't my way, this isn't my way, this isn't my way. Say, okay, what do I need? Because they say that the difference between a dream and a goal is putting a plan in place. So when you put your plan in place, like Lisa did with us, we made our dreams into plans that we were able to bring into reality. And anybody can do that. So do that.
I think just keeping an eye on the time, I'd like to, unless there's anything from online, John, nothing from online? Okay, I'd like us to move, I'm trying to get away from that echo, or that sound, I think it's going now. I'd like to move into the next part where we welcome up the artists one at a time and we gift them a book. So we do have some artists who are featured in the book. I also didn't mention before, and I apologize, but our 2 guests, our 2 friends who did give speeches, Leah and Ron, they actually wrote letters in the front of the book as well. So I think I'd invite Wynn to come up, and I'll call up the artists one by one, and then I will go stand there and say our names, and then you will come up here and see Wynn. And we can clap after every single name. L. Megan. Chris. Marcia. And Logan. And those are all the artists who are here right now. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here to celebrate this book launch. It's the first time we've had it like open to the public and in person in the last 2.5 years. So it's extra special. So thank you so much. I'd also especially like to do a shout out and a big thank you to the folks who are involved in making this particular book. So there's Michael Rennie, there's Marissa, Lisa Guy, Maytar, Ollie, and Kevin. So after this, I'm done for the night. I want to say thank you. I'm going to quickly hand it off to John to say the last 2 remarks about how you too can own one of these beautiful books. John, come on up.
Thank you so much, Lisa. As you will notice, we have a display of the book itself just over here on the table. There isn't a formal signing this evening, but if you would like to approach any of the artists featured, please feel free to do so. But happy to inscribe your books. For those artists, if you don't have a writing implement, there are some pens and markers just over there on the table as well, and I'll put those forward just a little bit in a moment. Please do feel free to get your book signed. Please do remember to pay for the book at some point this evening. Our cashiers are just over there and waiting to serve you. Otherwise, we are so pleased to have had this evening and to have celebrated with you. Thank you to all of the artists who spoke this evening and for sharing your work. It's such an incredible volume, and one of the things that will strike you invariably as you look through its pages is just the sheer breadth and variety of the incredible work on display, both in medium and approach. So please do take your time with this volume and enjoy it. To all of tonight's speakers as well, to all at Artbeat. And the one thing I will point out before I close is that the video of this event will remain live on YouTube. So if you'd like to watch it again or share it with anyone who wasn't able to make it, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much to Lisa for hosting tonight, and to all of you, have a wonderful evening.